Hello, it's Mike with MatterFix.io, and this is one in our series of pro tips videos. And in this video, we're going to go over the unstable error. We're primarily going to focus on the Pro3 camera because it seems to happen a little bit more in that platform, but we're also going to cover the Pro2. We want to walk you through, if you're having the issue, how to diagnose and decide if it's something you can take care of yourself by swapping out a component in the field, or if the camera is going to need to be sent in for service. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with MatterFix.io, we are the authorized service center for out-of-warranty Matterport cameras. So if you're having an issue with your camera, if you purchased it more than a year ago, or if it's been dropped and has physical damage, it won't be covered by warranty, and you need to arrange to send it to us for repairs. But we can typically get cameras repaired and ready to ship back to you the day after we receive them, and we warranty the repairs for 1 year. And one thing I really need to add at the beginning on this unstable error, if your camera's been dropped, then it's very likely there's an issue inside the camera, and it's going to need to be sent in for repair. If it was working fine, it's dropped, and now you're getting an unstable error, very good chance that the issue's inside the camera. On the Pro3, we would encourage you to send in your tripod adapter at the same time you send that camera in for repair so we can test it. We have a way to test those out to be 100% sure if there's any issue with those. Okay, so let's get into it. Say you're out in the field and you get the unstable error. One of your technicians calls and they're getting the unstable error. Here's the process we advise you to walk through to decide what the issue is and what you need to do. Generally speaking, whenever you get the unstable error, it's either going to be an issue with the camera itself, which in that case, it's most likely going to have to be sent in for service or repair, or it's from the surface that you're scanning on up through the tripod adapter, something in there. So the first thing you want to do is you want to eliminate any potential issues that you might have with the tripod adapter, the tripod, the surface you're scanning on. First of all, the surface you're scanning on, this is a hardwood floor, so that should not cause any issues. But if you happen to be scanning on carpet, if you're scanning on one of those construction overlay protection surfaces that they put on the floor, that can introduce a little bit of wiggle. Any wiggle or any movement at all, especially with the Pro3 camera, is going to cause the unstable error, or can cause the unstable error. So the surface that you're scanning on, verify that. Next thing you want to do is you want to look at your tripod. You want to make sure all of the clips are fully engaged and that there's no movement. You can't push in and out. Sometimes these clips can wear out, not necessarily on this tripod. These Manfrotto 190s are really good tripods and hold up really well. But some of the ones, the plastic can wear out and can introduce a little bit of wiggle there. The slightest bit of movement or wiggle can cause that unstable error. So you look at the surface you're scanning on, the tripod legs. The next thing you want to do is look at the tripod head. Most of these tripods have this feature where you can extend this mast up to elevate the camera for scanning. That's a really good feature. But if that screw that engages that in place, if that isn't fully tightened, if it's a little bit loose, that can introduce, that little bit of wiggle right there can cause the unstable error. So you need to make sure that's secure. Then the next thing, once you've gone through all that, you want to look at is your tripod adapter. This is the T-mount for the Pro3 camera. Now, one thing I'll say right off the bat, we seriously advise you to have a second good T-mount in your kit. There's nothing worse than getting out on a job and something happened with the T-mount, it causes the unstable error, shuts you down, and basically because of that, you can't finish the job. So always try and have a known good one, second one in your kit. Now, if you don't, or if you want to check this out, you want to make sure, of course, that this is fully tightened down. If that's a little bit loose, that little bit of wiggle can cause the unstable error. The second thing you want to do is actually inspect the T-mount itself. There's a feature in here where the bottom and the top can be rotated independently, and that's the clutch mechanism. That allows you to move the camera by hand to change its orientation when it's on the tripod. There should be no play in that. If there's a little bit of wiggle room in there, that could cause the unstable error. This seam that goes around here, if that's uneven, that indicates something's probably happened to tripod adapter and it's defective. That can cause the unstable error. The next thing you can look at is the clamping mechanism. On these Pro3 T-mounts, it should be loose when it's disengaged, but when you get down and push it in that last little bit, it should take some force to close it. If it's too loose, you need to tighten it up. If it's tight all the way out here and you're having to push really hard, that's too tight. You can do an adjustment real easy on these. This is a 3mm hex head here, and if you just turn a little bit like that, see, that loosened it up. So that's too loose. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it back up. Up a little more. Get it in there. There we go. Oh, see, that's too tight. Doesn't take much, quarter of a turn. Okay, that's good. It's loose out here, takes force right there. So that's one thing you can check out. The next thing you want to check out is these little clips on the side here that hold the camera in place. So when it's disengaged, these are loose. They should move freely. You set the camera down, it allows it to push it in and pop out when the camera's down, and then this locks it in place. When it's locked in place, there should be very little movement. The one on this side typically won't move at all. The one on this side can have a slight bit of movement, and that's okay. So you want to be sure those are functioning correctly. If you see any issues there, that can cause the unstable error. Next thing you want to look at is excessive wear. If the paint's worn off here, that's not too bad, but you can get to the point under real heavy use, it'll actually start to wear the metal down. And at a certain point, it'll get worn down enough that can cause the unstable error. So there's really a lot of things to look at on the Pro3 camera. And we do see a lot of instances where we get Pro3 cameras sent into us and the customer saying they're getting the unstable error. We inspect the camera and the camera's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. And it must have meant that out in the field, either their tripod adapter or something in the tripod or the surface they're scanning on was what was causing the unstable error. So now we've gone through everything with this Pro3 camera. The surface is good, the tripod's good, the tripod head is good, and we think that the tripod adapter is fine. If all those are checking out and you're still getting the unstable error, then chances are there's a problem in the camera and it's going to need to be sent in for service. Sometimes, though, you can do a couple of things to check and confirm that the problem's in the camera. One is listening for different sounds, and the other thing is watching the rotation of the camera. I'm going to start in a sweep here with this camera here. You can hear the V drive start up normally. Now when it's moving very steady, and the sound is just a slight additional whir when it actually rotates. If you hear any clicking, any grinding noise, that indicates a problem inside the camera. If it's not rotating exactly correctly, if it stutters or stops or something like that, then obviously that's confirming that there's a problem inside the camera. So if you've gotten to the point where you've determined that you think there is an issue inside the camera and you need to send it in, anytime there's an unstable error or any problem with the rotation, we ask that you send the tripod adapter in too, because we have a way of testing it completely to make sure there's no issues with it. But if you need to send the camera in and it's having rotation issues, and very likely the H drive, the motor that rotates the camera in here, is bad and is going to need to be replaced. That's a fairly expensive repair. I believe it's a little over $900 plus shipping. Now we do warranty that part for a full year, and we can typically have your camera repaired and ready to ship back to you the day after you send it in, or the day after we receive it. So if you do need to send your camera in, you can just go to our website, matterfix.io. A little white box will pop up. One of the selections is send in camera for repair. Fill out that information so we'll know to expect it. And you can even request a shipping label there. And we get our shipping labels through ShipStation, and we get really good rates, and we don't mark that up. So you can fill that form out within a half an hour. Typically, we'll get you a shipping label, get the camera into us, and we'll get it taken care of. So now let's talk about the unstable error in the Pro2 camera. Everything we talked about earlier with the surface you're scanning on the tripod head, the tripod mount applies. You want to make sure those are good, that they're not introducing a problem. If you're still getting the unstable error, then chances are the issue is inside the camera. One thing on the if you screw your camera directly to the tripod, some people do using the 3/8 stud that comes out, just make sure it's fully tightened down good and snug. And if you're using the Arca clamp, which is what we typically use, I always like to tighten it by hand, then wiggle the camera and then tighten it again, because sometimes that'll be slightly off center, offset, and you tighten it, you feel like it's tight, but it's not. And this is mostly, if you've scanned a bunch, you know that, but if it's a newer technician, they might not be aware of that. So always double check that. So if everything is good there and you're still getting the unstable error, then chances are the issue is going to be in the camera. If the camera's been dropped, then you can be 90% sure that the issue is in the camera. And like on the Pro3, you can also tell sometimes by inspecting the camera when it's doing a rotation. It might give you some ideas to confirm that the issue is in the camera. Whenever you initiate a scan, it should move smoothly between the positions, and the noise should be a constant like what you hear here. If you have any grinding, clicking, any stuttering of the camera, then that just confirms that you've got a problem inside the camera. So this one is functioning. This is how it should look and how it should sound. If anything different than this, then that's just confirming that there's an issue inside the camera that's causing your unstable error. So if you think you're having a problem with your Pro2 camera, you've determined it's in the camera, we can definitely take care of it for you. We'll have the cameras repaired and ready to ship back to you the day after we receive them. We warranty those repairs for 1 year. You can go online, fill out the form, request a shipping label. We get good rates from ShipStation on those. We don't mark them up. And if there's anything else we can help you with, message us, contact us on Facebook. We're always here to help you out. Thanks.